All right, Coast to Coast Combat Hour, first one of 2020. Ed Carbajal is here as always with Matt Hawkins, and super happy to have returning guest Anthony Pretty Boy Taylor, who is signed to fight at Bellator 238. What's up, Anthony?
Man, I'm feeling great. I'm excited, Ed. Definitely, definitely.
Last time we talked to you, you had just come off your title win at URCC. What happened between now? I think that was in August. We talked to you shortly after then. What happened between now and then to make this happen with Bellator?
Well, I was initially supposed to fight Combate up in Stockton, but I found out by my manager Alex. They said, "Oh, they scratched your card because
Mm.
you're not Latino." I'm like, "What?"
Oh
Like,
wow.
I fought on that card before, like last year at Stockton. Like, I never had an issue, and I'm probably the biggest name on that card. Like, are you serious? So I said I paid no mind, but I stayed training, and then my coach, sorry, my coach gives me a call. Hey, you're fighting Bellator against Cris Avila. Let's do it. And there's a story behind this, right? So I believe when was the form when Juan Archuleta fought Pitbull? What
September 28th.
okay. So funny story, right? So I'm at the forum. I see Nick and Nate and Chris. I walk up to Nate and say, "Hey Nate, man, hey, good luck in your fight with Mazadov. I'm looking forward to watching you fight, man. I can't wait." Shook his hand, everything was great. Saw Nick, shook his hand, like, "What up, Nick? How's it going?" He's like, "Good, good." And then as I walk up to Chris Avila, I've never met the guy in person. I just knew of him. I went to extend my hand. I was like, "Hey, how's it going, man? Nice to meet you." He just mugged me like how Nate would like, really? Like, and I looked at him like, "Whoa, you see Nate face." He's like, "Ooh." So I said, "Okay, I'll see you in Combate." This was, mind you, this was in September. You
Yeah.
know, so so then all of a sudden December comes. Antonio's like, "Hey, you're fighting Chris Avila." I'm like, "Oh, snaps. Okay, okay." Because come to find out, the reason why Chris Avila dissed me was because I beat Brandon Famui for the title, who Brandon Famui beat Chris Avila at Bellator in San Jose. And that's why he was bitter.
That doesn't even make any sense though. Like I mean, it doesn't make any sense for him to be angry. Just I mean, is that guy a friend of his or something?
No, they're best friends. They're like buddy buddies.
Oh,
He calls
okay.
him his protege. Like, no, but really, like, I hear so much bad things about Chris Avila. Like, they say he's stuck up. He's an asshole. Excuse my
Mm,
language. He's always talking mess, trying to fight people when he's with Nick. Like, he tries to be a wannabe Nick.
mm.
And it's like you'll hear so many bad reviews about that dude. And now I'm here fighting him, wanting. I'm going to knock him out.
Good man. I mean, well, one thing for sure is that I mean, whatever you've been doing, you got to keep doing as far as because you're on a 4 fight win streak yourself. Obviously, whatever you've been doing is what one of the many reasons that Bellator wanted to bring you back in outside of I mean them being in your neck of the woods. So I mean, I just don't. I hope it's not overly personal for you that it's a distraction. You know what I mean? Like,
Right, right. Yeah, I see what you're saying. It was at one point, but Antonio had to calm me down. He was like, "Yo, don't let it get to you. Stick with the game plan.
yeah.
Focus. Stay with the game plan."
Yeah, I mean, you're coming off four wins in a row. He's kind of on the other side of the globe with his record. He's 1-6 in his last 7. Now, obviously, MMA has proven that doesn't necessarily mean anything. As you point out, he lost to a guy who you had a tough fight with for a title in your last fight. Um, where has Bellator told you anything beyond this? Is this one of those one fight deals and you kind of win and you assume you keep going with them? Is that how this is working out with them?
I'm not sure. Antonio McKee tells me one fight at a time. You just never know what Bellator is going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, let me take my time. Let me focus on this one fight because when I fought Brandon Famui, I wasn't in shape. I probably took that fight back in July. Took the fight on that notice in July. I wasn't in the best shape, so I wasn't able to utilize my wrestling at the time. Wrestling takes up a lot of energy more than striking. So I said, shoot. I know my grappling's gonna tire me out, so I just kept it standing with Brandon Famui and now striked him and became champ. Sorry, I just drunk some of this drink and it got to me.
That's all right.
I'm just right now. Antonio's like, hey, take this one fight. The money's gonna come. Don't worry about it. Don't get caught up with the James Gallagher idea of rematching him. Just take it one fight at a time.
Yeah, no, I think that's sound advice, especially coming from him. I saw a couple of days. It was like I know we messaged each other over the weekend when the news broke, and then I saw it was either yesterday or the day before that folks were coming at you because of the whole Cesar Gracie affiliation and stuff like that. And but the matchup seems sound. I saw even Chris Lencioni, who fights for Bellator, was even liked the matchup and complimented you on how well you guys match up together. You guys trained together before?
No. Well, me and Chris, we had our little history back in time. Like we didn't like each other just due to I had a big name at the time, and Chris was just now getting into Bellator, and he wanted my name. He wanted my seat. Eventually I fell out with Bellator. Lost fights. I had to go fight other places to make my way. Chris came in and started fighting for Bellator. So, me and Chris had our beef because he wanted my spot at the table. And, eventually I gave it up and, me and him became cool. We're cool. We're cool folks. If we had to fight, it'll be nothing but love between me and Chris. Nothing but respect and nothing but honor if we do fight. But Chris seems cool. I've never trained with him. I love to train with him. Fortunately, he's all the way in Oregon, I believe. So,
yeah.
And I'm just training right now. I'm just training hard with Antonio. Antonio is doing an amazing job getting me back in fight shape.
I noticed on social media, Facebook and such, you were kind of flirting with the idea of, it seemed like you announcing something coming up in the near future. How long have you known about this fight? You talked about taking the last one on late notice. How's your weight going to be for this one? I imagine, training with those killers, they're going to have you ready, but where are you at physically and how long have you known about this? Did you get a little bit of a heads up?
I found out December 2nd.
Okay. So you've had a month before you let the public know.
Right. And he was telling me, don't say nothing to nobody until Bellator gives me the green light till you get the contract. My manager was telling me the same thing. Right now, this is my 6th week training. My 6th week of the training camp right now. We train about 6 days a week, twice a day, for 2 hours. It's hard. It's very hard. Especially the guys I'm going with. Baby Slice is very heavy and strong. Joey Davis, man, trying to grapple with him, trying to get up and survive, it's hell. When you're grappling with Joey Davis and Baby Slice and Marlon McGee and Conor Hyatt and Adrian, it is hell. Then you got striking with AJ. You got to stay on your feet and toes because if you don't, you know what AJ does.
Yeah.
So I'm preparing myself in so many ways that I know he's not training. He doesn't have an AJ McKee in his camp. He doesn't have a Joey Davis in his camp. He doesn't have an Antonio McKee in his camp.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have a Baby Slice in his camp. You know, he doesn't have those type of guys. You know, I know that I'm a better fighter than Cris. I'm going to destroy this man and let Bellator know that I'm here to stay.
Yeah.
Because when I got with Bellator, I got thrown in the fire. There wasn't no fighter development. Like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
let's match him up with his record. 0-0, okay, 1-2, okay, 2-2, 3. Nope. I fought a guy from AK 5-1. Bam, Gallagher 5-0. Borix 9-0. And I'm like, yo, this is my third fight, but hey, I had no choice. I had to prove my worth. And
Yeah.
Bellator, yeah.
Yeah, it's not like
Had to
you could have
prove
said
myself.
no. Yeah, yeah, it's not like you could have said no back then, and then have them never think about you again. So I think everything you're doing is right, man. I mean, it's super. One of the things I always say to Matt that's most admirable about you is that, I mean, not only are you consistent with your training and improving your skill set for fighting, but I mean, you're always super assertive about just getting yourself out there, you know, in the whole landscape of the sport, not just in the fighting aspect. So
Right.
that's one thing that I think. I mean, I always tell folks. I mean, if you're not watching Anthony Taylor, pay attention to him because he's a smart kid. But one of the things that I wanted to ask you, because you've been developing so much, looking at both record, you and Avila's record. I mean, you're on a 4-fight win streak. I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, maybe it was. You could look at it as a positive that they're bringing you in because he's not coming off of wins himself. He's actually got a few losses in a row, and it looks like. I mean, he seems to be tough to put away, but it looks like he's been outpointed in most of his fights. So I don't know how far, like as far as preparation goes for you, because like, are you watching tape on him, or you letting Antonio handle everything as far as the game plan? How are you guys preparing for this?
Well, I'm kind of like Rampage. Me and Rampage, Rampage and me kind of have a similar style. Like, we don't like watching videotape because everybody's different from their
Hmm.
last fight. They're not going to be the same fighter that I've seen them fight in that fight. They're going to be different. Antonio watches the footage. He sees the habits. 4 fights into his career, he sees the habits. He's like, yo, you're going to hurt this dude. This dude has no power. He fights like Nate. I mean, think about it. I mean, you ain't no Nate Diaz. That's a damn sure. And I saw the way you fought Brandon Famu. You're sloppy. No power between those punches. He's never really finished nobody besides his debut and when he fought for Bellator up in Hawaii against a 10-11 guy, which is pathetic. That's the
Hmm.
only finishes he has. Only 2 finishes. Out of how many fights he had? He's like, what, like 15 fights, 2 finishes? You
Yeah.
know, um, I'm coming here to really hurt him. Like, hurt him. Because me getting back to Bellator is what's really going to prove a statement. My goal, and I tell everybody this straight up, is to fight James Gallagher in a rematch. That's my goals. And if it
Yeah.
means getting through Cris Avila, then so be it. I don't care for what he's fighting for or who he's protecting. You get in that cage, you're in my way to where I need to be. And if I have to kill you to get in that way, to get where I need to be, then so be it. I don't wish harm on nobody, but if it's coming down to it, then I have to do what I have to do. And Antonio is preparing me. I got AJ preparing me, Joey preparing me, and you train hard to make it look easy.
Before Matt jumps in, I just wanted to say one thing because this is probably the most focused I've ever noticed you too for this fight. So are you gonna, as far as, because I know I mean, anyone that's followed your other fights elsewhere, sometimes you do some stuff during the lead up to bring eyeballs to or attention to the fight. Um, are you still gonna run that vibe during fight week, or are you so focused that you're just trying to do the weigh-ins and get to the first bell?
Oh Oh, absolutely. I want to engage, but I'm trying to engage with
Hmm.
Chris, but he's not engaging with
Hmm.
me. And it's okay. He hasn't even posted the fight really on his page, but besides the story, but he's not an engager on social media. But I'm okay with playing the bad guy role. I played it my whole career.
Hmm.
Budapest, Ireland, London. I'm the Triple H. I like playing the Triple H role. That bad guy. Because you need that guy who's coming in to whoop your butt. You know, when I talk smack, no one can say I'm Conor McGregor because I'm the Irish. When I
Hmm.
talk smack, no one can't say I'm Floyd Mayweather because I'm not a boxer.
Hmm.
So I can take bits and parts from both of those guys, even from Ric Flair and Triple H and The Rock, and put it into something special
Yeah.
and make a character. Because in MMA, you need to make a character for you to be noticed.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Bellator definitely gives you the opportunity for that. Being one of the prelims, you won't get the extravagant walkout, but that'll be something that can come with time, and they'll give you a chance to promote yourself there. Looking at your record, and I think I might have said something about this last time. You've got 4 wins in a row. You started your career off on a slower note, but as you say, you fought killers. Does it help create confidence in you when you see how well James Gallagher and Adam Borics have done? I mean, is that something? I mean, I'm sure it's not something you sit and dwell on, but when you look back at those losses, is it a little easier to take seeing them on your record as opposed to having Borics be on like a 4-fight losing streak right now?
Uh,
Does that is I don't know. I'm just trying to get into the mentality of a fighter. Is it something you look back and go, I lost those fights, but I lost to some fucking good dudes. I'm not losing to some bums. Now my record is a little bit stressed, because of it shows a couple losses on it, but I'm not fighting bums. I'm on the up and come.
right. No, kind of, yes and no. I mean, have you seen the fight with me and Borics?
I mean, I remember it back then. I haven't watched it since,
If you
honestly.
if you watch it and you see the confidence of my striking, I pretty much kicked his butt striking.
Uh-huh.
I didn't let him establish kicking because I moved around a lot. I was lateral, in, out, side, in, out. So he couldn't really set up. So I was very difficult for him. But as far as those fights, I was very immature and green.
Mhm.
I was a
Yeah.
green fighter. Those guys been doing jiu-jitsu, whatever, for his life. Gallagher, Bowix was doing his Muay Thai and kickboxing, and he was training in the States at the time. I just came in on pure athleticism and talent. I didn't have no really proper training, and remind you, I fought Gallagher in December of 2016. I got with Antonio in April of 2016
Mm.
as an amateur. So my career was kind of short when I fought Gallagher, but with the experience I have now, I have no problem beating them both. Again, even though I lost those two, it's you learn from it.
Yeah.
You know, I lost two good guys. I mean, you look at Mazadov, he lost to a lot of people in Bellator, and people don't dwell on it, but you can look back and you can choose to have the opportunity if you want to fight them again or not.
Hmm. Yeah. No, man.
That's yeah.
Absolutely, man. I mean, one of the things, like I said, I mean, I've definitely watched enough of your fights from Gallagher to now when you fought at Combate and stuff like that to see the evolution that you've put yourself through. And like you said, losses are lessons, and you've definitely learned from them. Um, what would you say though? Like I know you said you like Rampage, but uh, what would you say is because I remember when we first talked, you were really into the submission game, and it looks like now, like I mean, it looked like there was a point there where you were just wearing dudes out with your wrestling and counter striking. So like, I mean, do you think you've just grown so much as an overall mixed martial artist, or have you developed a certain strength in one aspect of the game that's been helping you get back to this point now?
Well, on top that's a good question, Ed, because when I first got in the game, I came in as a striker.
Mm-hmm.
I had no ground game when I fought Gallagher or Borix. Um, but I dedicated, all my 4 losses or 5 losses comes from submission, one
Mm.
TKO. I dedicated my 3 years of straight grappling, hard jujitsu, wrestling, manhandling. I, if you look at it, 2 people I kind of like. Look at Antonio McKee. If you notice, my style's like Antonio McKee. I strike if I have to, but I'm gonna take you down with the opportunity.
Mm.
Also, if you look at Derek Campos, we kind of have a similar style. We'll bang, we got heart, but we rather take you down and just wear you out, because I'm a wear and tear grounded. I'm a grinder. So we're kind of similar, and it helped out AJ because, like I said, me and Derek Campos have a similar fighting style. We're not flashy. We're not counter punchers. We're just very durable, and we're grinders. So I did a lot of soul searching, and my ground game was had to be improved
Mm.
because me being submitted that many times was unacceptable, and I knew what I had to work on. I had to understand jujitsu. I had to understand the positions that were in that I was getting caught in, how to defend them, how to put people in them. I had to understand the move to learn how to get out the move, and I did 2 to 3 years of learning that
Nice.
with the grappling. And now when I go in a fight, when people look me up, you only see a couple fights on YouTube. All they see is Gallagher and Mike Hales when I fought him in Bama. You just see me striking, and then if you see Mike Hales, I'm just grappling. So there's not a lot of footage on me for a person to be like, oh, he's this or he's that.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you fight me, you're like, oh crap, he's actually grappling. I thought he was on a strike. Now you're done for. So I have a good game plan for this fight, and I'm very confident in my ability. You know, I'm just I'm overly confident, and that's good. You look at a lot of fighters, MVP, all these other guys, AJ,
Yeah.
Pitbull, Tricky, they're all confident.
No, and I mean I think that's what's really cool about you is that you've embraced the learning aspect and moving up and obviously you want Gallagher. That's been stated many times, and I think that that's something that's definitely in your future. I mentioned those early losses earlier, and just a point of fact, you got this card headlined by Cyborg and Julia Budd.
Mm.
Cyborg lost her very first pro fight, and Julia Budd was KO'd by Amanda Nunes 14 seconds into her second pro fight. So it's just that's kind of more where I was going when you fighting top level competition early. Those losses seem to be more of a learning experience, as you said.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, as somebody who's watched a lot of fighters come up, and obviously I'm not a fighter like you, but I think that might be better for your career in the long run. Maybe not so much the short run than if you had fought in a couple trash men that you finished in 35 seconds in your second and
Right.
third fight. So it adds to that. Bellator has really stacked this card. I don't know. I know Ed's got something for Valerie Lareda, but she was just added to the card. So I know Ed will be streaming the weigh-in, but Raymond Daniels. It's got to be exciting. I mean, I know you got your fight and that's your focus, but when you start seeing all these other names around you getting added to a card, that's got to be something. That's got to be cool. I mean, you're fighting, you're fighting, prize fighting. It's got to be awesome to be surrounded by such a great card.
If I had to choose, if I wanted to fight on card, I like fighting overseas.
Mm.
I would choose to fight overseas. Why? Because more the attention's on the American. You're not going to send a bunch of American fighters to fight in England card. You're not going to send 3 to 4 fighters to fight on the Ireland card or Budapest or Italy.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're that only American fighting on the European card, everybody from America, okay, let's represent for this American. You know, I'm excited to be on this card. I'm excited to share the stage with some other big names. You know, I was once the biggest name in Bellator at one point. You know, but you gotta make your way back up to the top, and it's going to take time.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely, man. I agree with you. I mean, not for nothing. When I saw the news, I know I'm supposed to be impartial, whatever, but I was super excited for you when I saw you got
Thank
your
you.
name on this card, man. I mean, I know you put in the work and everything. I mean, we've spoken privately about other things, like looking what you should do, as far as like looking for fights and the struggles of. I mean, I remember reaching out to Combate when that fight got scratched, and they kind of blew me off too.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, I got like a non-answer is what I'll say. I got
Wow.
I didn't get the details that you got, but I was just like, oh, okay. I was looking for that fight, and then it never came to fruition, and you kind of just filled in all the gaps for me. But so talking about being excited, I mean, we're in a new decade, new year, 2020. You're fighting in the so sometimes I get into like numerology and astrological stuff, and it's kind of cool that you're fighting Bellator's first event of the year, first month of the year, and I think you're the first fight on the card. Is that right?
It might be Valerie or Raymond or possibly me, but that's
Hmm.
okay. We'll say yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but that's gotta. I mean, on top of what Matt said, I mean, that's gotta outside of just being back where you've been wanting to be back fighting in a while. That's gotta be like I know you said Antonio told you to just stay focused one fight at a time, but I mean, how hard is it to keep your energy levels as far as like being focused versus getting all jitters and nervous because I'm fighting on Bellator again. Has it been difficult?
I think a lot of it is more of excitement for me. So I'm like, calm down, getting too excited, don't do too much, just relax. It's more me jumping for joy in practice, like, yeah, Bellator, I'm back. And he's like, yo, calm down. Let's win these fights first, and then
Yeah,
we celebrate more. You know, Antonio does a lot of good job. He does a
yeah,
really well job when it comes to managing us fighters. I mean, when you look at Antonio, how he is building AJ, how he built AJ up, you know, he did it the right way. When you look at Joey Davis is doing it the right way. Joey Davis is a 4-time Division II undefeated wrestler for 4 years. You know, if they wanted to, Bellator can be like, okay, you're fighting top 5 guys because you're a national champ. Lorenz Larkins, MVP,
mm,
Doug Sleeman, Rory, all those other guys, bitch. You know, and Antonio's like, yo, let's get him on development. He's young. Why put him in there and have him take all this damage fighting these guys who are a lot older? Let's build it up like AJ and let him become a star when he's ready. You know,
yeah,
so Antonio's doing a really good job at promoting us and really looking out for us. Because at the end of the day, when you retire, it's all about your health and wealth.
yeah, yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
when I look back into my journey, you know, this is my I let going into my 12th fight. I never took damage in a fight. I can honestly say I've never really been really hit in my face at all. Gallagher didn't really hit me. Bulwarks didn't hit me. I just got submitted. You know, when I fought other fights, I've never been like knocked down or anything. I'm fortunate that I'm able to get up and say, hey, I can train another day, another fight. Hey, I can fill in a 2 weeks notice. You know, unfortunately, I'm very blessed to say I can do that. You know, and Antonio's training is helping us get better and see things for what it is. And he's also teaching us because he's been doing MMA for about 25 years. And
Mm,
he's so experienced, he knows the game. So he's
yeah,
teaching us, don't do this, don't do that. All right, do this. Don't mess around with that. So Antonio is really giving us all the information that he messed up back then. that he now knows. Okay, he sees.
It seems like you guys really got a real tight family atmosphere there.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's coaching his son, so there is family. But from an outside perspective, when I've seen your team together at events, it seems like it's really a tight-knit group. It seems like you guys are all buddies. That's got to be, I mean, it's got to be cool to be able to train like that. And I don't know if there's animosity between anybody I'm sure there's competitive, but it just seems like you guys are a bunch of good friends that are learning how to fight from somebody who's been through all the wars. And I just think that's really cool in this day and age to see that developing with the fight team.
Absolutely. We're all family first because we eat together, we go out together. And Antonio is proven that he can make champions. When he had Bob Sapp, a lot of people didn't know that. Antonio used to train Bob Sapp back in his Pride days. Antonio trained Rampage back in his Pride days. Antonio had Emmanuel Newton, who became a champion.
Oh yeah.
He had Jesse Juarez. Back when he was King of the Cage champion, welterweight. He had Brett Cooper, Bubba Jenkins, and Aaron Pico. So it's proven that what he teaches success. And we're family here. Regardless, even if Pico left, he's still family.
Oh yeah.
Regardless if Bubba Jenkins left and he went to Brave FC and he's training somewhere else, he's still family. So there's no animosity towards nobody in the gym or fighters or fighters that used to train with us. It's more with Antonio. Hey, if I'm not the guy for you, I wish you the best.
Yeah.
Much love and prosper for you and your family, because all I want is to see you healthy for your family. And that's how Antonio would get by saying that.
Yeah, man. That's something. It's funny you're mentioning that because I actually just had a similar conversation with my instructor and stuff we got going on in my academy out here in Jersey. And it's just if you're with a positive group that you're training with and stuff like that, it becomes like family, and that energy, you kind of feed off of each other as long as you keep a positive vibe and a supportive vibe like that.
Yeah.
Even if folks have to go do whatever they got to do for whatever reason. So that's
what's crazy is, even though a lot of those fighters I mentioned in name,
yeah,
that I told that no longer trains with us, Antonio is in contact with them all the time. He talks to them.
Yeah.
He's still their friend. Hey, I might not be your coach, but we're still going to be buddies and family.
Yeah, that's great, man.
I'm still here for you if you need me. My door is always open.
That's great, man. Yeah, that's the way it should be too. There shouldn't be any beef like that. Otherwise, because you never know what's going to happen in the future. Folks could come back, or maybe you might have to go train wherever they're training because you're in the area. And that only helps each other grow. That only helps the team grow as martial artists. I know Matt's going to be there for the event because he's on your coast. So that's it for me, man. Outside of my wishing you luck and congratulations for getting the fight.
Thank you.
So that's it for me, though. I don't know if you have anything else for Anthony, Matt.
No, same thing. Just want to wish him a happy new year. Best of luck. I'll be at the fight. I don't know if you drink beer or eat hot dogs, but
I don't eat none of that.
If I run into you afterwards after the fight and something looks good, I'll be happy to treat you. Again, I appreciate you coming on the show, supporting us. And we look forward. We said it at the end of our last show as we wound up 2019, listing off the fighters that had come on this show, and a lot of younger up and coming guys. And we just look forward to watching your career develop. You putting away one of these scrap pack dudes, and just big things to come, man. I look forward, especially being here on the West Coast with Bellator. I get to attend a ton of events, so I look forward to being there and watching it. Throw out your handles, sponsors, anything you got, my man.
Egg whites. Let's see, Atlanta egg whites. High Five Therapy. Let's see, who else? TC1 Jail, and that should be it. Oh, Roy Kim, doctor's office. Let's see, PG Sports, my boy, and Future Venom. You know, we Venom had a talk.
Oh, nice, nice.
We can say that, but yeah.
How about
And
your
keep it
Twitter
short.
handle?
Oh, my Twitter is Anthony_for real. Facebook Anthony Pretty Boy Taylor. Instagram Anthony_Pretty Boy.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, best of luck. And fans can always catch us at Combat Hour on Twitter, Coast-to-Coast Combat Hour on Instagram, myself
Yes.
at MMA Hawk 21 on Twitter and Instagram. Follow Ed at Carbazol on Twitter and Carbeerzol on Instagram. Best of luck, man. Look forward to
Thank you.
watching your fight in a couple weeks, and Happy New Year.
I appreciate it. We'll talk soon.
All right.
All right.
Cool.
All right. Bye.